In this week's lesson, I'm going to show you some must-know chord shapes for your blues rhythm playing, and I'll show you a foolproof way to find the inversions to any type of chord anywhere on the fretboard. My name is Jack Roosh. Welcome to my channel. Let's get into it. Today we're talking all about dominant seventh chords. A dominant seventh chord is made up of the root, major third, fifth, and flat seventh. These types of chords are commonly found in blues, and oftentimes all three chords of a 1-4-5 blues will be dominant. So it's really important that we know these all over the fretboard. To break this down, I'm going to show you 4 different inversions spread out over 3 different string sets, so 12 shapes altogether. Some of these you might know already and some might be new, but along the way we'll learn how to make inversions of any type of chord and how to thoroughly break down chord shapes across the fretboard. Okay, so we're going to go through the inversions for E7. We're going to start on the top 4 strings with this root position voicing right here that starts with E, the root, B, the fifth, D, the flat seventh, and G sharp, the major third. Now to find the first inversion of this chord voicing, we're going to move each note up through the cycle of notes that make a dominant seventh chord. So the root is going to move up to the third is going to move up to the fifth is going to move up to the flat seventh, and the flat seventh is going to move back to the root. So in this voicing, E, the root, is going to move up to the major third, G sharp. B, the fifth, is going to move up to the flat seventh, D. D, the flat seventh, is going to move up to the root, E. And G sharp, the third, is going to move up to B, the fifth. So this becomes this. Now as we continue on, G sharp, the third, is going to move up to the fifth. The flat seventh is going to move up to the root. The root is going to move up to the major third. And the fifth is going to move up to the flat seventh. So we go from this to this. And for the final inversion, this fifth is going to move up to the flat seventh. The root is going to move up to the third. The third is going to move up to the fifth. And the flat seventh is going to move up to the root. And we go from this to this. So all 4 inversions sound like this. So now that we know these 4 chord voicings, we can move these down 1 string set and get some different fingerings. If we take this root position voicing, and instead of playing E on the 2nd fret of the D string, play it on the 7th fret of the A string, then this voicing becomes this, which is the same chord recipe as before: root, 5th, flat 7th, and major 3rd. And we can do the same as we did before and move each note up through the cycle to find our inversions. So the next inversion from here would be 3rd, flat 7th, root, 5th. And we can move it up again and get 5th, root, major 3rd, flat 7th, which I'm going to play down here in this lower register. And our last inversion would be flat 7th, 3rd, 5th, and root. So a lot of these chord shapes are not the typical ones you may use for a dominant 7th chord, but they're really cool voicings, and by inverting these chords we get a very thorough breakdown of the fretboard. Moving to the bottom 4 strings, we get our root position voicing down here: root, 5th, flat 7th, major 3rd. Our next inversion is here with 3rd, flat 7th, root, and 5th. And then we get this shape with the 5th in the bass, root, 3rd, and flat 7th. This is a really great E7 voicing that you almost never see anyone play. And lastly, we get this shape with the flat 7th, 3rd, 5th, and root on top. Okay, so now I'm going to apply these to a song. The track I'm playing today is an 8-bar blues based on the tune Key to the Highway. This is a 3-chord blues that uses the chords E7, A7, and B7. Now we only went over the shapes for E7, but it's very easy to find the shapes for A7 and B7. Just take your root position voicing and move it up so that the root note is A or the root note is B. Then all your inversions will lay out in the same order from there. I'm going to start out simple and play down the track on the top 4 strings and just play one voicing per chord and move to the closest inversion for each next chord in the progression. So from E to A, from E to B. Take it up one notch and play through the different inversions for each chord, still just on the top 4 strings, but mixing it up a bit more. Okay, now on this final pass, the sky's the limit. I'm going to use any and all of the shapes to play freely all around the neck on all strings, and this is really the point you want to get to once you really master these shapes. Hopefully you got something useful out of this lesson, maybe just one new chord voicing to add to your vocabulary, or maybe you want to take the thorough approach and master these all over the fretboard. Either way, thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.